Good evening, everyone. Hope you can all hear me. Hope you can all see what's going on. It looks as if the stream is running okay, so I'm going to work on that assumption. What a treat for everyone. A couple of Super League shows within a very short period of time, 48 hours. And we're ready to go again, so appreciate everyone getting their squads in. And yeah, last minute changes. I know it's a little bit difficult. You can't always change your tactical lineups and all these kind of things, and might not have time of it for to doing that. I appreciate it's the kind of holiday period as well, but it seems as if everyone had a fair crack at it and made the changes that they wanted to do. As mentioned, I'm hoping to do another show on Sunday. We'll see if we can get the turnaround done. Should be all good. Hopefully. If there's any problems, of course, any of you, then you can just let me know. I'm sure we'll sort something out. I'm not trying to force anyone to submit the squad, but it would be great if we could get another round out, round 12 on Sunday, and then fingers crossed round 13 at some point next week, which will be then the halfway point of the season before I go on holiday, and then we'll be back in September for the second half of the season. Hopefully, finish up by sort of Christmas time. That's the old way of doing the Super League, I guess, rather than the way that a lot of you have gotten used to with more regular shows. But we will get there in the end. Evening, Mr. Richards. Evening, Mr. Edwards. Evening, Mr. Taylor. Good to have you all here. Hope you are excited. I'm a little bit low on energy, as I mentioned, labor camp today, or clearing crap out of my dad's garden, but there we go. Paul says he's in for Sunday. Well, that's good. That's good. We will see who else is in for Sunday, and we will have a look and see if we can get the show on the road. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the results. Evening, Steve. Good to have you here. Let's have a quick look at the results. We don't need a huge reminder because they were only a couple of days ago. We had Exiles with that win against the Badgers away from home. The DMC Vargas drop popping up with a couple. A little bit of a surprising result, I would say. However, given Badgers' struggles against Sancte in the previous round, maybe not that surprising. Evening, Tato. Good to have you back. Sorry for your recent results, but maybe you'll get back to winning ways tonight. We had East Coast beating Los Santos in a fairly comfortable, even if the scoreline doesn't suggest so, but I believe it was a fairly comfortable 1-0 win. Colchester and Dudley Hill was the opener of the evening, which was probably the least entertaining game of them all. But still, you can't knock a hard-fought draw, so it's all good. We had Northern Burn comprehensively beating Foss Road, keeping another clean sheet at home. They're fifth and five. They think they're at home tonight again. We'll see how it goes. Then we had Stackington and Sloths in one of the more entertaining nil-nil games in Super League history. Very exciting. We had Stanley against Haggis with a late brace from Ruud van Nistelrooy, ensuring that there was a share of the points there. And then finally, we had Vikings against Sancte, which was really a cracking game with goals late on, and it looked as if Sancte had pulled it back for a draw, and then Vikings eventually, I think it was Estebaria who then um, sealed the deal for them and secured all 3 points. Evening, Mr. Savage. Evening, Mr. Campbell. Good to have you all here. We will have a look at the fixtures and see what's going on. We've got Badgers against Sloths. I'm not sure if Alf will be here. Hopefully, he was busy yesterday, or he was busy on Tuesday. We have East Coast against Stanley. Mr. Dimble, I'm sure, will be turning up. Mike is here. Carl Smuts, maybe will be here at some point. Neil, I'm not entirely sure, but Foss Road against Exiles, an interesting matchup again. Fulchester against Sancte. Sancte is going to need to start getting points, I think. So it wasn't. It looks like it was a one-off against Badgers, that 4-0 win, but we'll see if they can get something from here. I should have mentioned that Foss Road is on a four home game in a row kind of streak, so we'll see how that pans out for them. We have Northern Burn against Dudley Hill. As mentioned, Northern Burn looking to make it 6 wins without conceding goals at home. We're doing what we can to jinx it, Ian. Don't worry. Steve Steve says he was happy to take a point in an away game, so we will see if he grabs one here. 0-0, it'll have to be Steve because Burn don't concede at home, as we've established. Evening, Dan. Evening, Alf. Good to have you here. Then we have Stackington at home to Haggis. Stackington, of course, looking for that first win of the season, but much improved recent performances. Haggis, although also looking quite strong, especially with that comeback on Tuesday night. We have finally Vikings against Los Santos. Vikings really looking to pick up some steam here. Los Santos have been blowing hot and cold. Pavel Nedved really the only player who's done something for them regularly. Although Pizarro got a couple of goals the other evening, not on Tuesday, but prior to that. But we will see if Vikings can pick up all 3 points here. So it looks like we have a relatively full house. So let's just go with what the game suggests in terms of the first game of the evening. It's going to be Fulchester against Sancte. I've seen Dan is here, so we're good to go from a Fulchester's perspective. Duggan is doing the FPL thing, so he's not here. So apparently I'm in charge. He didn't nominate anyone else. So that's all very good and very interesting. Hello, Mr. Dimble. For Fulchester, a couple of changes. Let me double check if I did this right. I think Viduka is coming in. Was that the only one, perhaps? I struggle to remember, which is kind of surprising considering I made the changes about, I don't know, an hour ago. But anyway, I believe that was definitely one of the changes for Anelka and Anelka on the bench. Indeed, that was the change for Fulchester. So um, maybe he will be the answer to their, I won't say prayers, but to the issues that they've been facing, scoring goals. Fulchester, we will see. We will see how they do against Sancte, who I believe will give Viduka number 19. That seems appropriate. Sancte, on the other hand, I believe they went unchanged, but I will double check just out of curiosity. Um, as mentioned, the FPL thing, and he is indeed going as is. So, without further ado, I think we will kick this one off, and get into our first game of the. It's Fulchester against Sancte Salutis. Dan looking for 3 points. Duggan looking for doing something else, and me not screwing things up. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. But let's kick this one off and see what occurs in the first half in terms of chances for either side. Um, it was picked up by a couple of people, the change that Colchester had made. Oh my goodness, Viduka scores on his debut. There was a swap between Beckham and Asedov, I believe it is, and I think some people said that maybe that should have been a permanent change, but we'll see how that works out for Colchester. Obviously, having taken the lead, Dan is probably going to be unlikely to make any changes so far, and definitely good to get a new striker scoring. That's when you do a deal, you bring someone in, you throw them straight into the starting 11. Of course, you hope that they will do well. It's 1-0 at halftime. Sanctes had probably slightly the better of the chances, or the more of the chances anyway. Failed to convert though. We'll have a look at sixes and sevens. There are no fives. I'm not going to do anything with Sancte. I'll just pop them up here with the condition as well, just for Duggan to see when he watches this back. Meanwhile, Fulchester, 6 for Petrov and Materazzi. Everyone doing pretty well, 7s and 8s. And fitness-wise, there are no concerns. So I'll let you confirm what you would like to do at this stage, Dan, if anything. And we'll crack on until 60. Dan says that's it. So that's what we're going to do. Let's see how it looks after 60 minutes of play, if we are still in this position. Fulchester ahead. It certainly looks like they're going to be ahead, because Stilian Petrov has just made it 2-0. And it looked as if the better of the chances early in the second half has definitely been falling to the Fulchester players. A big chance for Viduka there, just as we cross the hour mark. We'll go and have a quick look here. Pablo Michelin is on a 9, but also on a yellow. Materazzi is still on a 6. In terms of conditions, you've got nothing to worry about, although Danielson is on 87. If you'd like any changes to be made, Dan, then please let us know. Otherwise, we'll run until the end. Meanwhile, I'm having a quick look at the Sancte side. There are 5s in there. Ambrosini at DMC, he has got a 720 average though. Could potentially put Van Bronckhorst in there, but I'm not going to make any kind of like risky changes for Duggan. So we're going to leave it as is. Unless we're forced into it by a 4 or an injury, then I would have maybe done something, but we leave it like this. And Dan says stick. So that's what we're going to do. Let's bring it up to full time and see if we will see any more goals. Perhaps a second for Viduka in this one. It looks as if Fulchester still have the better of the chances for sure, although there was Eric back coming forward for Sancte. Failed to convert though. We're keeping it at 2-0, and just like that, that's how it ends. That's how it ends. 2-0 victory for Fulchester. Much better performance from them in the second half. Controlled play completely. Sanctuary only had the one shot that wasn't on target. I think they were 4-3 at half time. We will just have a quick look at how their players performed in general. Ambrosini was on a 5, as mentioned. He didn't improve. Everyone else on 6s and 7s. Definitely not what the manager would be looking for. Meanwhile, over at the Fulchester side, the Nielsen found the assist. Michelin with the assist as well, or Michelini, I believe, with an assist as well. Stilian Petrov with a goal. Overall, solid performance. 5 shots, 2 on target. Maybe not what you want to see, but at least the ball hit the back of the net. So Dan says he's happy with that. So I presume that is indeed true and not just him making a statement. 3 points on the board for Fulchester. Sancte remain at the bottom-ish of the table. Well in, Dan, says Mr. Edwards. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Next up on the schedule, it looks as if we will have Stackington Colliery against Haggis. For Stackington, there is a change at the top. I believe Saviola is coming on for Elba, who drops out completely with Antonio Casano being promoted to the bench. Guigu comes into the bench as well instead of someone. Let me just double check if I've done this correctly. I'm not sure if Agahawa should be on the bench, but Ross is here, I think, so he could potentially confirm it. But let me just double check the email. Indeed, he shouldn't be on the bench. It should be Rivaldo instead. He is, and there's Agahawa. Who's the last one? Oh, indeed, it was like this. They were all on the bench. I just forgot to remove something. Problem solved. Problem solved. Mon the Haggis, says Andrew Richards. Indeed, indeed, Mon the Haggis. Let's see how it goes. I made a couple of changes for you, Ian. You had sent through a picture that I couldn't see, but I kind of guessed what it was that you wanted to change based on your set piece takers. You definitely wanted Tomadera in there and Said, so they are there. I'll show you your lineup in just a second. Injure Saviola. Maybe we will see what happens to Saviola. So this is your lineup. Tomadera in for the injured Kluivert. And we've got Said in back for Smoots, and we've got the correct goalkeeper back in, so it should be fine. And the set piece takers are all good. So apologize, I couldn't see the picture, and I only checked it very much last minute. So, but hopefully this is fine. And you say all good, so we'll go with that. So those were the changes. Tomadera comes in for Kluivert. Said is in back from suspension, and the goalkeeper has been changed back. So without further ado, let's kick off the second game of the evening. We will see if Stackington can continue the run of decent performances. Hackett, of course, with that great comeback in the last game, came back from 2-0 against Stanley to draw 2-2. Sigalko opening the scoring. After we'd spoken about how he had scored in 9 games, he is off the mark now, of course. First half kicks off, and it looks as if Haggis is trying to do something very early on, and it is indeed Tomadera who opens the scoring for the visitors after just 2 minutes. Definitely not what Stackington and Ross wanted here. Tomadera getting involved again. Seems as if Haggis are hell bent on taking advantage early on and then hanging on rather than having to catch up in the second half. But Stackington are not without the chances. I have seen Saviola involved a couple of times. Ibrahimovic as well, up there for Stackington. Oh, the Kua had the ball at the back of the net. Ibrahimovic has strayed just offside. Thought they'd had the equalizer there, but they did not. While Pinto comes forward, tries to find Ibrahimovic, but we go to halftime. Couple of chances there for Stackington, but it has been mostly Haggis in the first half, to be completely honest. Let's have a look. Not that they've played particularly well. It's 7 and 6s. No assists for anyone either. No fitness concerns. We'll bring it up on the big screen, Ian. If you want to make any changes, you are welcome to confirm. Meanwhile, over at Stackington, let's have a look. Ian says roll. That's all good. Ross, for you, it's 6s and 7s as well. And again, no fitness concerns. If there's anything that you would like to change, then please let me know. Was Ross here, or did I imagine that? Either way, we'll give it a minute or two and see if Ross is indeed here and he can make the required changes. Probably going to be a little bit disappointing considering how relatively well they performed Stackington in the last, I'd say about 90 plus a bit minutes, but it looks as if that it's not really continued into this one. Ross is here and he goes Casano for Saviola, so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to roll till 60 and see if that makes any changes. First 15 minutes of the second half. Can Stackington pull a goal back? We'll hack his hand on to this. Saviola off. For some reason, Wolfie's very unhappy with any involvement that Saviola has in the league. I'm not entirely sure what. It does seem as if we're coming up to 60 minutes now. Slightly better, Stackington. Nothing happening quite yet. Fitness is looking okay. Casano's still on a 6. Zlatan as well on a 6. I'll let you ponder that for a while we jump over to Haggis. 6 for Del Vecchio, 6 for Walter Samuel. There are no fitness concerns, and you are still 1-0 up, Ian. So up to both managers now if you want to try to change something to impact the game in the last 30 minutes. Whoever comes first, I can't remember if there's an order for this, but whoever shouts first, obviously, is fine for me. Diagonal arrow on Pinto, please, and that is all. So we will do that. And Mr. Campbell says roll, breezy and wet. Look out for keepers misjudging the ball, I believe is one of the kind of little pieces of information that Alf has shared with people previously. If it's breezy and wet, then you need to try a lot of long balls and crosses because the keepers are somehow prone to making errors, I guess. Anyway, we roll until full time and see if Stackington can find a way back into this one, or if Haggis can hang on and Haggis can extend the lead. Van Nistelrooy, who's on fire at the moment, this means that he joins Crespo at the top of the top scorers chart at the moment. He's got 6 now for the season. Just slowed it down a little bit so I can waffle on about stuff while we see if anything else happens. 3 minutes of added time coming up. Here is Del Vecchio. It's pretty much been all Haggis towards the end of the second half, and there is, I believe, Tomadora making it 3-0, and Stackington, unfortunately, still searching for that first win of the season, and the good performances of recent games maybe didn't really materialize today. They did have 6 shots, 3 of them on target, compared to 11 and 7 for the Haggis. Let's have a look at the performances here. It was Petkov with the assist, the other two unassisted. 7 and 8, so not really a fantastic performance, but a solid result. Juan Gomez with 12 attempted tackles and only won 2. That's no good news. Meanwhile, Buffon kind of letting his sound down a little bit. Maybe Hart getting a 4, considering only 3 out of 7 shots, but that's how he has been judged. Alexander Vogt continues his good performance. He's got an 8. Cosmin Contras on an 8 as well. The striking partnerships are still struggling to really make an impact for Stackington, unfortunately. Most shots on target. Indeed, 2 shots on target for Pinto, but none of them converted, sadly. So back to the drawing board for Stackington, or maybe not. We will see what Ross comes up with, but probably a slightly disappointing performance from the manager, considering how reasonably well they've been competing in the last 1.5 games. Anyway, it looks as if the next game that we're going to have is Dimble's East Coast against Mike Savage's Red Rose Stanley. I think Nicky Butt for Neil Scally was the only change for Stanley. They had, of course, that 2-2 with Haggis. Last time out, it looks as if they were winning. Zigalko was on the score sheet, but in the last 15 minutes or so, 20 maybe even, Haggis brought that one back. Mike will be looking for something better today, but it is, of course, a tricky game away to East Coast, who, if I'm not mistaken, had some discussions around some transfers about David Prutton and where he was going, and Viduka and all of this kind of stuff. But it was all sorted out. All managers very happy, amicably. They managed to figure everything out. I forget what the changes are. I believe Nakata moving out to the right hand side and Boya coming back in are the key changes. Not sure if there were any others, but anyway, Lee Boya coming back in is going to be good news for the manager as they continue to push towards the top of the table, obviously chasing league leaders Northern Burn. So, without further ado, we're going to kick off this one and see if East Coast Cosmos can continue their good run of form and put the pressure on Northern Burn, who will play later this evening, or if Red Rose Stanley can find a way to break them down and nick a point, or even all 3. Let's see how it goes. Early chance for Tigalco, but nothing happening. Sand is there as well, getting involved. Constantino, who's been on great form of late for East Coast, with a chance there as well. Ronaldo getting involved for Stanley. It's backwards and forwards chances for both teams so far with 26 minutes played. Um, Here it is with East Coast now taking a little bit more control of the game, and it is Kovalchuk who opens the scoring for them. A bunch of players involved. I'm not sure who got the assist, but there was definitely a big team effort getting the ball across the line there, and we move into 45 minutes. East Coast are 1 goal to the good. 6 shots on target, 6 shots, 5 of them on target. Not as much for Stanley. Now we'll have a look at the away side first. It's a lot of sixes, no fitness issues. Probably a little bit concerning for the manager to see that level of performance from his players. We'll see if anything will be done in terms of changes. Don't know what is happening with this team at the moment, says Mike. No. It's a tricky one because you've had some pretty good performances. And then this happens, yeah. You were 2-0 up at halftime in the last game. Sigalko was even scoring, and then this happens, and you haven't really changed anything apart from putting Nicky Butt in, which is definitely not a downgrade. Meanwhile, East Coast, I said a bunch of players were involved, but no one got an assist. Kovalchuk with 2 changes or with 2 shots. The same for Constantino, 2 on target, 6, 7s, and 8s. Uh, and no fitness concerns for Dimble. Mike says as is. Dimble says as is. We run till 60 and see if anything happens in the start of the second half. A chance for Stanley and a chance for East Coast. Now Stanley comes back up. Vlahovic, who scored on his debut, I believe, last time out, if I remember rightly. Um, Getting involved ever so slightly, but not making enough of an impact. That's the hour mark. Nakata's on a 6, Ronaldinho's on a 6. He's even got a yellow. Regilio Vrede is on a 6 as well, down at the back. Fitness wise, everyone is looking good. So it's got to be tactical, or if you want to see if Dimble wants to see someone else, we will see if he makes any changes. Meanwhile, Stanley, Peter Sanders up to an 8. Everyone else is kind of hanging around on their 6s and 7s. Condition wise, you're looking pretty solid. I'll leave it up to both managers to see if they want anything. Dimple says Agat for Nakata, and that's it. So we're going to do that straight away. Nakata comes out, Didier Agat comes on, and we'll leave it for Stanley and Mike to make any additional changes, or any, uh, not additional because he hasn't made any, but to make any changes for the last 30 minutes. Some talent on the bench. Mido, probably the only real attacking option that he has there. Phil Neville and Damiano Sinoni. I mean, they're decent players, but they might not be the ones that he needs to turn this game around. But we will see what Mike comes up with, if he has any drastic changes, 3 up top or whatever it might be. Ronaldo and Vlahovic, obviously fairly versatile attackers, could be utilized in different formations. Mido on for Simac, Mido into AMC with forward arrow, but into MC done. Okay, let's see if I can figure this one out. Mido for Simac into AMC with forward arrow, but into central midfield. Presume centralized sand behind him. I'll let you confirm either way, but I think that's the most likely. That's the most likely scenario that I'm gonna run with. Yeah, great. Okay, perfect. Excellent. Let's see if we can get a goal in the last 30 minutes. Let's see if Stanley can find a way back into this one. Beat up the commentary a little bit. Mido involved early on. There's Vlahovic again. There's Ronaldo. 3 of them getting involved, but none of them finding the back of the net. And now we're on 78 minutes already. And there it is. Vincent Cantala. He had goals disallowed, at least 1 goal disallowed in the previous game. He pulls one back for Stanley, who are now looking as if they could pick up another point here, just as they did against the Haggis. Salihamidzic is coming forward. There's Mido. Mido going into the box. And it's Mido who's given Stanley the lead with just 4 minutes to go. Surely the winning goal was a commentary there. There are 6 minutes left to play. 6 minutes left to play. There's Lee Boyer getting involved. Kovalchuk is getting active as well. Um, Beating defenders. Robin gets the ball into the box, and there comes Boyer. Vesterveld manages to turn it behind. Here's the corner. Brady would they have a very, very, very close. Gary Neville does something, and there's a goal kick. Last chance of the game, potentially. Top corner for Lee Boyer. He's found the equaliser with just a minute left to play. His first goal of the season. East Coast have done it all square now. Heartbreak for Stanley as they get another 2-2 defeat. Another lead slips away for them. Looked as if they were going to pick up all three as it did against the Haggis, but it has turned out that it's going to be a draw. Second week in a row that we've had 87 and 9 minute drama. An excellent advert for the Super League, excellent performance from both sides, good changes from the manager, and of course East Coast with Lee Boyer being back in action for the team, opening his account for the season. But yeah, it was definitely an exciting one to watch and comment on. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. Edge of your seat stuff, certainly the last 20 minutes or so. 15 shots, 10 on target for East Coast. Stanley was 6 and 6. It didn't look that one-sided, to be completely honest. I thought it was probably fair that Stanley at least got the equaliser. Salihamidzic and Aguiar were the assist people. Meanwhile, for East Coast, Arjen Robben picks up man of the match and assist uh, for the last goal that I think Lee Boyer scored there. And let's see in the match report, was it the last kick of the game? Indeed, it was. With the last kick of the game, Robben squared the ball from the left. Boyer found his whatever he did, blasted to the top corner. Excellent, excellent. Very entertaining. Well done to both managers for putting out interesting, attacking, and well organized sides. Moving on, it looks as if we will be doing Vikings against Los Santos next. Paul is definitely here. If you'll excuse me for just 1 second, and I will just try to clear my nose. Apologies for that. I hope the muting worked, so you didn't have to listen to anything. But here we are back with LSK in our next game of the evening against the Vikings. There are no changes for Los Santos. Manager's relatively happy with the performance of his side. They are still to pick up any sort of like huge good runs of results. They have the decent players. I think he just puts his faith in them and hope that that things are going to work out all right. Vikings, from memory, Paul didn't change a lot due to one. Um, the winning side, it was the last minute winner, but of course they all count, I guess. It was indeed 90th Maria got the winner for the Vikings. So I believe that's the main reason Paul keeps it as is, and who could blame him? It worked out with Simeone down at DMC and everyone else getting involved, chipping in. Still to see goals from Martin Palermo, if I remember, 4 substitute appearances. Will they come today? Who knows? Who knows? We have the Vikings against Los Santos kicking this one off straight away, and see if Vikings can continue that small run that they're on now of decent performances and picking up points. Looks as if Los Santos are the ones looking for the early goal. Pizarro was involved, Guerrero has been involved, Pavel Nedved has been involved, but it's a sucker punch counter strike by the Vikings. Is Thierry Henry, who I think the manager was expecting a lot more from, giving the quality of the season that he had last time out. It's good for the manager to see him getting on the score sheet, and good for him. He doesn't have to be replaced by Palermo at halftime, so he'll be pleased as well, Mr. Henry. Um, Good, interesting game so far, though. Plenty of chances for both sides. Los Santos have been coming forward, but not really taking any of the chances so far. Quick jump in time there, and we're almost at the 45-minute mark. Pizarro was trying again there, and but struggling to find the back of the net for Los Santos. Unfortunately, they've had their difficulties this season. 7 shots, 3 of them on target. Vikings have had 4 and 4, and are of course leading by the one. Um, a Biscan on an 8, everyone's 6s and 7s, no fitness concerns. They are in general doing pretty okay. Just yeah, failing to provide that killer instinct, sucker punch, uh, finding the back of the net type of thing. Most of the time, Los Santos. So they are struggling and they are behind today. Thierry on an 8, Simeone on an 8. Playing down at central at DMC is obviously working out better for him. Everyone on sevens and eights, condition wise, everything is looking good. Cherry and Reed down on an 87. Maybe we will see Palermo. It was Hersey who picked up the assists. I don't believe Jamie's here, but Paul, if you want to do anything or if you want to continue as is, then please confirm. As is, please, says Paul. That's great. We will continue to 60 minutes and see if Vikings can either hold on or build on it, or if Los Santos can pick up the performance a bit and find a way back in. They have had 7 shots, as mentioned, only 3 on target, but it's not as if they've been without chances in this game. I'm sure Paul knows that. We'll be keeping a keen eye out for any issues in his defensive area that he might need to tighten up when it comes to the hour mark. And he has that opportunity. There is Thierry Henry, but it's Taibbi saving. And it's Los Santos coming forward again, trying to have a couple of chances. Sand with the header, doesn't find the back of the goal. Oh, and that was a big skip in time. Apologies to both managers there. But Vikings, hold on, we're on 71 minutes. Give you a quick look at the condition. It's the Berea now is down on 77%. Thierry Henry on 82. In terms of ratings, you are doing good. So Paul, if there's anything you want to do at this stage, then please let me know. We will just show this. Yeah, it's been a lot of Los Santos in the second half. 5 shots on target out of 11. Sauri is the only guy on a 6. Everyone is on 7 and 8s. Fitness wise, they're doing good. Let's have a quick look at who's had all of these attempts. It's everyone. They've shared it pretty well. Ebisand with 3, same as Guerrero and Pizarro with 2. As mentioned, Jamie's not here, so I will pop back to the Vikings. And Paul, if you want to make any changes, then please let us know. Otherwise, we will run for the last 19 minutes. Carry on, please, says Paul. So that's exactly what we're going to do. 3 points for the Vikings could be. They're going to be climbing up the table before you know it, if they can hang on to this one. We will just slow the commentary down a little bit for the last 8 minutes and see if Los Santos can actually convert some of their many chances that they've struggled to do so far this game. Nedved getting involved, Pizarro getting involved, Madini getting involved, Ferguson with a header. They only get a corner kick from it, but Simeone gets that away. Here comes Sorocinski forward for the Vikings. Jeremy space about forward, ball comes off Hersey's arm, and nothing else happens. Viking has the ball again. They give it over to Los Santos. Onto the head of Nedved. Kiotis with a great save for the Vikings. Looks as if they're going to be picking up the 3 points unless Los Santos can find a bit of a miracle for them here in the last couple of minutes. Biscan makes a crucial intervention. Does it go up the end? It does not. Vikings hang on to the ball. Here comes Hersey. Challenge for Maldini. They pick up a corner which is going to be taken. Taibbi makes a fine save. Last chance of the game potentially here. Talibi delivers the ball forward. Jeremies was in an offside position. I'm not sure how that was relevant. But either way, we are still playing. Sari lofts the ball forward. Pizarro had it, but Los Santos lost possession, and it finishes like that. Interesting game again, plenty of chances for both sides. Good performances by the keeper. Kiotis probably getting the man of the match for the Vikings, saving those 7 shots. Let's have a look at Los Santos first. Biscan on an 8. Yeah, solid performance from them. They just cannot find the back of the net for love or money. Pizarro lost 9 out of his 10 headers, which is going to be concerning. If we look at the Vikings, it was indeed Kiotis who takes home the man of the match award. That's a 9 for him. There's a 9 for Capu as well. As we saw already, Hesse got the assist and 6 shots, 5 on target for Thierry Henry. Looks as if Paul's finding his feet, as Steve says there. That's a good 3 points for him, and I'm sure he'll be jumping up a place or two in the table. Playoffs still, not too far away, but they are within reach probably the playoffs. But now is the time. Now is the time to start putting a run together, with the halfway point of the regular season coming up. Then this is it's kind of now or never, as history has shown us. It's few and far between are the incidents where teams who were really struggling at the bottom have made a miraculous turnaround in the second half of the season. So if it is on quality, if it is on managerial ability and luck and whatever else we have in CM, now is the time where we need to start changing it. Who on the bounce now? Indeed, indeed. Now it's going to be dangerous. It was 2 home games though. You never know what will happen next. We continue the evening's entertainment with the Smuts and the Unicorns. They are unchanged, as I recall. And they're up against the Exiles, who, as I recall, an enforced change. They had two, in fact, because they sold David Prutton, and there was a red card as well for the Exiles, wasn't there? Have a quick look. Indeed, Nesta got sent off. We've got Milito coming in for him. Broughton has come in, replacing Diana on that right-hand side. Someone left, I forget. Conceição, who went to Fulchester, indeed, on that. I won't say controversial deal, but the one that caused a little bit of discussion in the community about where David Prutton and Viduka and Conceição were actually going, and who asked first, etc., etc. Either way, Exiles in good form at the moment. Three undefeated in four, and clean sheets in the last two. So that's promising for them. And Foss Road have been struggling of late, to be honest. They have had some difficult games. As mentioned, they're on now a run of four home games. Maybe that's a good chance for them to turn around their fortunes. David Prutton gets number 12. Raul will be selected as captain. I believe Nesta was the previous captain. There wasn't an instruction from the manager, so we just let the games decide. Let's kick off the first half and see if Foss Road can find 3 points against the Exiles, who have been difficult to break down recently with that very, very solid DMC line that they've had. Vargas coming in, perhaps surprising to some in that DMC role. It's not as if the guy he'd replaced had been doing badly, but it's Ortega who opens the scoring for Foss Road on 4 minutes. Looking to get back to winning ways, and they have the lead and they are holding on to it. It's been very, very few chances that I've seen for the Exile so far. Here comes one, but it turns out to be a yellow card for someone. I'm not sure if that was Crespo who picked up that. Crespo, of course, gave away a penalty. I believe it was last time out, which is. Was it Crespo? It was never good news anyway when things like that happen. I believe it was that he gave away a penalty recently, and he's definitely been struggling to score. Anyway, that brings us up to halftime. Nothing else really happened of interest. Poor from Exiles in that first half, not a single shot on or off target. Foss Road with 3 and 2. We'll have a look at the Exile stats. The sixes and sevens, no fitness concerns. Neil, I believe, not sure if he's here. If he is, then of course, Neil, if you want to make any changes, then feel free to let us know. Crespo indeed conceded a penalty. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Wolf. Yeah, I thought that might have been the case. Down at the other end, no assist awarded. Ortega with the goal, Crespo on the yellow. He's definitely struggling for form at the moment, not scored for ages, not been playing particularly well either. Cambiaso had a couple of good games, but he's not doing a lot. I think he scored a goal as well or two, not that long ago. Smart says that's this, and as mentioned, I don't think Neil is here, so we're going to run at least until 60. There was Vieri trying to do something, but it didn't really happen. And there's Raul trying to do something. Cambiaso getting involved. We've hit the hour mark, and it still looks like this, that Kevin Hoffland's on a 9, and there are sixes for a couple of the guys, including Sebastian Veron. Everyone else doing relatively well. No fitness concerns, so Smuts is up to you. If you want to make any changes, then feel free to drop them in the comments. Meanwhile, we'll have a look at the Exiles performance, sixes and sevens. There's a 9 for Charlie Chaos, unsurprisingly. Always doing well, but not really the result that Exiles were looking for sure. They did come back when they went one at the back in the previous game. I'm not going to make any tactical changes unless they are enforced by events in the game. So we just roll until the end and see if Foss Road can hang on or if Exiles pick up some pace here in the second half. They've had 2 shots on goal, or 2 shots, 1 on target in the second half, as opposed to literally nothing in the first half. 15 minutes left to play. It looked as if it's not been super exciting, but Foss Road Unicorns holding on. 10 minutes left, or 11 rather, left to play. It's the host with the chances. Van der Vaart comes forward. Free kick is given for Foss Road. Run continues his run. continues his run. He still continues his run. He's brought down Tomasi, picks up a yellow card, but nothing happens. Here comes Sabrata trying to get forward. Tomasi sends off an Exiles player on a yellow card. I believe that the best thing we can do in this particular case is let's have a quick look here. It's so frustrating to do this dog shit. If any of you ever do it, then it's kind of your own fault if something kind of gets messed up. I was gonna maybe do something interesting, one at the back, whatever, but because it's like this, it's gonna have to be like that. Centralize it. That's probably the best I can do in this situation. Foss Road. If you want to make any changes, I believe. Is it that you get a chance to make a change when someone gets a red card? Perhaps not. There's only 5 minutes left. Let's run this one till the end, um, as the exile changes are not really throwing everything forward. Then I believe we can just run with it like this. Thuram's doing a bunch of stuff going forward. That's not always that you see that unless he's on the right wing, which he definitely isn't in this one. Um, he's he's really getting involved, but Foss Road haven't taken advantage of being one man to the good, but they haven't conceded a bunch of chances either. So manager um, will probably be happy enough if they can hang on to this one. Um, that's Raul coming forward. There's Kutuzov, but Nigmatulin collects the ball. Free kick to Exiles. Shot deflected off the wall. There's a rebound, but they fail to score. I would have made a change since I'm supposed to be able to. Aha, indeed. So maybe that was the rule that you could make a change when the other team gets a red card. Who knows? Either way, you hang on, you get 3 points. And feel free to add it to the list. I'm sure there is a growing list of complaints containing ignoring squad number requests, ignoring questions of having the game on next, ignoring giving the opportunity to make changes when they should have been done, etc., etc. That's the way that it is. Um, you could be pleased with the 3 points though, and back to winning ways. So that's good news. 5 shots on target, 5 shots, 3 on target against 3-1. The stats for the Exiles players not hugely impressive. David Prutton did not have a good debut, so maybe it'll be a while before we see him again. We'll see what the manager does. Meanwhile, over at Foss Road, not a lot happened. Roy Keane with a very dominant display there at the DMC role. Ortega gets man of the match on an 8. I won't say it's not good news. It's of course good news to get man of the match, score a goal and win. But an 8 has been a sort of an okay performance. But 3 points, that's all that matters. Foss Road were dropping down the table a little bit, and I think the manager would be very happy to be in the playoffs, and one of these type of results is definitely going to help them. I mentioned to him that probably 7, 9 points from these 4 home games, and they should be back to kind of plain sailing for Foss Road and getting into the playoffs. So we will see. It's not the easiest of games he's got coming up, but overall a good result for the hosts here. Next up, it's Dudley Hill visiting Northern Burn. Couple of enforced changes. Well, at least one enforced change. Shevchenko moves back to the AMC role. Hussein comes in up top. Olisa Devi has been promoted from the reserves and is in on the substitutes bench anyway. So that's how Dudley Hill do their changes as they look to break down the solid wall of Northern Burn defenders and defensive midfielders who have kept them from conceding a single goal at home so far in the first 5 games of the season. We will see if that changes tonight. We can't say that the chairman and the rest of the league haven't done their best to jinx it, but all, all is fair against the juggernauts of Northern Burn, I guess, to bring a leveler uh, to the situation. Unchanged on the pitch, I believe there's a change on the bench, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Chivo, Vieira, and Zidane is there. Indeed, it's Vieira who doesn't even come back to a starting role, which is a little bit surprising for me anyway. But obviously his manager has faith in the side that got the result the last time out. So without further ado, can Northern Burn hold on to their impressive home record, or will we see something from the visitors? Will they score a goal? Will they score a goal? That is the question on everyone's lips tonight. We kicked this one off Northern Burn against Dudley Hill. Of course, two former Super League winners, managers who knows what they are doing. Um, Inzaghi opens the scoring for Northern Burn, unsurprisingly. The way things have been going so far this season, it uh, would have been a big surprise if Dudley Hill the had taken the lead, and indeed Northern Burn continue. They get a penalty, and Inzaghi makes no mistake from the spot. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I was busy thinking about stuff to say about the Northern Burn performance. But there we are, 2-0 up at halftime. Good luck, Ian. I sure need it. You sure do. And in the second half, you're going to need it even more. You're 2 goal down. Headman keep the feet of Inzaghi in the area. I think you're probably lucky not to be sent off when the goalkeeper's involved in those kind of things. Then it can often turn out very, very badly. The only thing that happened was Kieran Dyer was shown a yellow card for apparently no reason. Ian, unsurprisingly, says as is tradition for him, despite having Huppier, Emerton, and Kuhl all on sixes condition-wise. Riquelme is one to look out for. He's down at 82 already. We will have a look at Dudley Hill. Eric Addo and Andrew Shevchenko are definitely not enjoying this one. They're both on fives. Dyer and Emerson, as mentioned, are on yellow cards. Fitness-wise, okay. Kieran Dyer is down on 83. He'll probably live. But there are certainly a couple of things that could concern the manager already. I'll let Steve confirm if he wants to do anything or if we just roll until the hour mark. Not an easy place to go. Not an easy place to visit and to get something. Coutinho on the bench. Alyssa Daby, who was brought up from the reserves as well. Is Steve going to go three up top? Is he going to move Trezeguet back to the MC role? Is he going to go as is to 60? Um, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. You're up against the league leaders. You're away from home, and you're down 2-0 at half time. It's not a situation that anyone would particularly like to go in. But it's the day before Hussein Shearer up with the others with short arrow on the MCs. So we'll start by doing short arrows on the MCs. We put Olisa Daby on and Shevchenko up with the others. I believe that's it. We run until 60, and we see if Dudley Hill can find a way back into this one with a combined strike force of 3 people up against Inzaghi, who I believe is on his own for Northern Burn. Well, they definitely had a chance. Van Bommel, Montero, a couple of people getting forward, still haven't found the back of the net. And that was a big jump in time, so I do apologize for that. And just as I said that, Emerton, I think, made it three. Indeed, it was Brett Emerton 3-0. Now the score line 78 for Riquelme. I'm guessing that we're not going to see Zidane in action, although I thought it would be brilliant, but his manager knows what he's doing. Meanwhile, over at Dudley Hill, things have not improved. Condition wise, you're good, but match rating wise, it's not looking great. 3-0 down with 20 minutes to go, or 21 minutes to go. I'll let both managers confirm. Milevski on right, see him getting a 9 sickens me. Indeed, Milevski getting an iron right FC sickens most people, I believe, apart from the Northern Burn manager. Ian presumably is going to go as is. I doubt we'll see Zidane in action. Steve, if you want to make anything. Oh, we do get to see Zidane in action. I will have to eat my words. I appreciate it, Ian. Thank you very much. Zidane comes on. And Steve, anything, or you're gonna run it and maybe hope for a consolation goal, at least be the first team to score at Northern Burn this season. Who knows? Oh my goodness, there's a book. Lassisi for Maquinho. We do that. Maquinho up to AMC. Montero Central. Diane Carlos up to this one with long arrows. Definitely going for it. Let's see. Let's see if Dudley Hill can score where everyone else has failed so far this season. Let's see if they can break down that Northern Burn defense, impenetrable as it has been so far. I cannot think of any other way to potentially jinx it, so I'm just gonna let it run until the end of the game and see if anything else happens in this one. Sucker punch by Zidane, no doubt. Um, they're leaving it all out on the pitch. Dudley Hill, all of the guys running forward. Let's put it down to fast. I don't know it's only a couple of minutes left, but let's see if anything can happen. 3 minutes of added time, which means we still have 8 to play. Montero catches Filippo Inzaghi. Not sure that's a good idea. Wall deflects a shot. Um, Marquinhos goes forward. There's Shevchenko. There's Trezeguet. There's Olisidibe getting involved. They are definitely doing what they can, Dudley Hill, to open to open the away team's account against Northern Burn. Shot grazes the crossbar. It's not looking as if, although here comes Emerson, here comes Marquinhos, and it's Trezeguet. Will it be Trezeguet East? Oh, Casillas punches it away, and Hippier heads it away, and that is the final whistle. 6 games, not a single goal conceded at home for Northern Burn so far this season. Um, Cruel and unusual punishment, slowing it down. I mean, it was exciting, wasn't it, to see if Dudley Hill could get a goal back. They had 8 shots, 2 of them on target. Unfortunate, Steve. It's a tricky one to visit Northern Burn, and it's not turned out in your favor. I do have to offer my commiserations. So and congratulations to Ian for keeping that home record despite our best efforts. Um, I guess I'm very much guessing Steve's going to scrap this result, forget about it, and move on. He will have easier. His next game will be easier. Might try to do some changes. The start stats don't tell the story. It's a toughest place. It's top of the league against a team who haven't conceded all season. It's the toughest game you're going to have all season. So hate to slow down, expecting a Trezeguet hat trick. Nah, yeah, I just like the thought of you pacing around the room. That's it. Milevski on a 9 with an assist. Dede with an assist. He was on team of the week. He was on team of the week. Let's see if he can repeat that feat this time around. Uh, Otherwise, Tolley would have played. Indeed, Shane Tolley is now a Dudley Hill player. I believe that transfer has gone through. I can't remember if we got any pending. I'll have a look. Of course, I did notice your comments about potential transfers, and I duly ignored them. You've had plenty, so that's how it is. Um, Anyway, enough chatting about non-existing transfers and Northern Burn. Congratulations, Ian. Got a couple more games. Have we got one or two? We've got one more game this evening. Time flies. We're almost at the hour mark. It's the Badgers. So it is Tato against Alf. Apologies for keeping you waiting. Right time for the champions. Indeed, the reigning champions are in action tonight. I believe there were changes. Um, let's have a quick check. A new tactics file as well, potentially. Indeed, exciting times at the Badgers. There's a proper home save tactic that, for sure. Chat mega saves. So Palmer, for those who were around in the Palmer days, he's definitely using this tactic. I believe many of you are using this or a variation thereof in your saves. So maybe who knows? Maybe it'll work out. We've got CC Roberts up top. Amoroso, Szymkowiak, Świętochowski, Giggs, Davis, Desai, very, very strong looking side. Pierre and Rossini on the bench ready to come on, probably to push those two AMCs up to the top. Many changes. Bully Boy tax against the narrow. Oh, is that an accusation or an observation, Ian? It sounds a little bit passive aggressive, I would say. Andrew Richards says he likes the team. Alf says it looks strong. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Mendieta said as a set piece taker, but not in the starting 11. There we go. Someone else will have to do that for him. Meanwhile, I believe there were no changes for the Spartak slots in the starting lineup. A change on the bench, Yap Stam, who has missed a bunch of games this season. He's actually only played one. He got an 8. He's just back from injury, but Southgate has been very, very impressive since. And Taribo West has obviously done an excellent job as well. So he only makes the bench. A surprise to everyone. Goals incoming. Goals incoming. Let's have a look. Got lots of players missing and keep losing, so why not A? Well, Indeed, indeed, indeed. Let's have a look and kick this one off. Last game of the evening, the Badgers against the Sloth. A home save bully boy tactic against the Narrow. What could possibly go wrong? Is either going to be amazing or a very, very tedious nil-nil draw. So let's see who opens the scoring. Let's keep it positive. There was a yellow card the first thing of the game, and here's Ashley Lyth picking up an injury. I'm presuming Mark Vivian Foe and swapping with Desai, but I will let Tato confirm. Unless you go on one of the back. Foe and swap with Marcel, indeed. So a good start for Alf, even though he didn't actually have to do anything. It was Ashley Lyth picking up that injury, and here comes Brooking, here comes Shearer, here comes Keane. A couple of guys from the Sloth side lining up, trying to find that opener. Shumkoviak and Giggs, the wide players from Badgers, both getting involved, something that people have been, of course, looking forward to. Someone utilizing the width against the narrow of the Sloth, but it's Rui Costa who opens the scoring. Sloths take the lead on 30 minutes exactly. Rui Costa, who's not been hugely impressive so far, finds the back of the net for the Sloths. They take the lead against the reigning champions after recently having a good result against the current top team against Northern Burn. They beat them 2-0 as well. So definitely finding some form now, Sloths, with that a solid defensive lineup and a couple of guys to actually score goals for them as well. 4 shots on targets for each, fairly even in terms of everything else apart from tackles one, which was super dominated by the Badgers, and Sloths have been better in the air overall. Alan Shearer picked up the assist. Arnold Broking surprisingly is down on a 5 after missing 6 tackles. Not a bunch of passing going on for the Sloth side either, but the manager probably won't be too worried. Ronnie Johnson is on an 8 here at the half time point. Let's have a quick look at the condition. Everyone's still in their 90s, Alf, so I mean, you are welcome, of course, to make a change for Broken Keys on a 5, but everything else is looking okay. Meanwhile, over at the Badgers, things are looking less good. Ashley Lyth only down on 69, so probably not a serious injury, but there are a bunch of sixes, and overall, it's been so-so. Both wingers have picked up a yellow card already, rather than doing anything in terms of assist. Up to both managers if they want to make any changes or if they want to confirm as is. As mentioned, it is the away side who currently hold the lead. 1-0 on that Rui Costa goal. He is the captain as well. We can spend the time and see. Both managers do have instructions. I was just going to see what actually happened. Sure, find Rui Costa in the area. Lost his man. Plenty of time. Excellent, excellent. Plus, we'll do Fiore for Brooking, as he's also on a yellow, which is a very fair point. Excellent. Thanks for that, Alf. Meanwhile, over at the Badgers, we've got Roberts for Rossini, like this. Extend the winger arrow to the top, please. Pato going forward as well. D style here. We run till 60 and see if someone can find a goal. Uh, Good early chance for the Sloths. Then Badgers had a couple of chances. We're almost at the hour mark now. And it's been all Badgers since then. We're on 65 minutes, almost stopped it at the right time. It's been I won't say impressive from the Badgers, but they certainly had the better of the first 20 minutes of the second half, I would suggest. Unfortunately for them, Jim Kovac is still on a 6, Vivian Foe is on a 6, Rossini is still on a 6 as well. So nothing doing in terms of scoring goals. Fitness-wise, you're all good, as far as I can tell. I'll let you consider that while we go to the slots. It's Keenan Emerson are on 6s. Everyone else is doing pretty well. Southgate is on an 8, but on a yellow. Marco Ramos on a 7 and on a yellow. And Rosicky is only on a 6. Um, I will let you consider that. Tato's going all in, it looks like. Shimkoviak for Pierre. And shove him up top. Leave it looking all uneven. Uh-huh. And move. Okay, one at the back. Yeah, I thought it might be the case. So very attacking. This can't be right. Shimkoviak for. Aha, indeed, like this, I guess. Cancel all changes. Cancel all changes. Shimkoviak for Pierre. I think I probably swapped the wrong guy and push him up top. Leave it looking all thingy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like this. I think like this. Apologies, I misread that or picked the wrong Polish player or whatever it was. So like this. I guess this is it. You can confirm if you wanted if you want a different. Don't touch the RM. That's perfect. Thanks. Okie dokie. We will do that. Sloth tactics. I believe Smith for Shearer is the only change that Alf is going to make. We've got 25 minutes left to play. Let's see if the Badgers can find a way back into this with their unorthodox, uneven, and asymmetrical formation, or if the Cloth can hold on. Not much going forward in terms of scoring the Badgers. Let's see if that opens them up at the back. There's a couple of minutes to be added on. We're nearly at the end. I don't really think they created a bunch of additional chances. Rui Costa doing well to snuff something out. Amoroso sends in the free kick. Sloss have been conceding late earlier on the season. Will they be able to hold on? There was Pierre Electropoulos makes the save. Oh, he dropped it. Oh, but there was no one there to capitalize. That could have been the deciding moment in the game. Badgers could have equalized right at the end. Um, well done, Alf. Long live the stupid Badgers. The Badgers who find themselves way below the dotted line for the playoffs at the moment. I believe it's 5 wins and 6 defeat, if I'm not mistaken. Now we'll have a look in a second. So commiserations to Potato and congratulations to Alf. A solid away win there for the Sloths as they continue their decent run of form and they're keeping clean sheets. Indeed, indeed. Um, that leaves us with the result looking like this. The Badgers, as we saw just then, losing to Sloss. An exciting game between East Coast and Stanley with that late goal from Boyer. Foss Road with a solid display, beating the Exiles despite my best attempts to cheat smuts out of a tactical change on 84 minutes, 1-0 up against 10 men. We have a full chest of beating Sancte, who are not looking particularly good at the moment. We have a great result for Northern Burn, keeping their place at the top of the table despite the pressure from East Coast. 3-0 win against Dudley, as mentioned, still to concede at home. Haggis at the above the dotted line as well with that 3-0 win. Stackington struggling despite having improved performances recently. It was not the case tonight. And Vikings moving up to 11, skipping above Los Santos. Um, and into 11th place. We will have a look at the competition at the table and see what it looks like. Northern Burn way out in front. I say way out, 3 points ahead of East Coast, but looking very very strong. East Coast on 22, also in a good position. Dudley Hill not too far behind, same as Foss Road, same as Hackers. Bit of space down to Exiles, Sloths, and Badgers just below the dotted line. Fulchester with that 3 point, getting closer as well. Stanley, two draws. They could have had an additional 4 points. We would have been 16. We would have taken them equal to where Exiles are. And Vikings with that recent pick up in performances. I think 6 points from the last two has put them up into 11th on 12 points. We've got Los Santos just behind them, and we have Sancti and we have Stackington down at the bottom. Unfortunately for them, still looking for a win with only 7 goals. Not looking particularly great. Sluss with the best defense. Indeed, indeed, they have 7 goals conceded only, and I believe their away record has been, I won't say great, but they've only conceded 3 on the road, which is a record. Only scored 2 as well. Sluss' home record is a little bit more sort of normal football, but yeah, definitely been solid. We will finish off by having a look at the fixtures. So it's Dudley Hill at home to Badgers. Not an easy one for the Badgers if they are struggling. Dudley Hill, of course, struggled today, but that was away to Northern Burn. Next up on Northern Burn is a trip to the Exiles, who stumbled today but have been in decent form of late. Foss Road will host East Coast, a tricky game for them home. East Coast still unbeaten, that 2-2 result tonight, of course. Hag is in form. Big comeback from Nuvrud Val Nistelrooy last time out, and then the win this evening against Stackington, against Vikings, who are themselves in decent form. We have Los Santos hosting Stanley. That's going to be a very interesting, and I predict fairly tight match. Could be another 2-2 for the Stanley. Sancte at home to Stackington. Desperate times for both managers, 13th against 14th, and finally it's lost at home to Fulchester, the meanest defence in the league, with a narrow formation against Dan, who got a good result this evening. It's going to be very interesting. Hopefully, be on Sunday evening, normal time. I believe the All Stars are not running at the moment. If I'm stepping on anyone's toes with this, then do please let me know. I will reschedule happily. But I will send out the packs probably early tomorrow morning, and if you could get the teams back as soon as possible, then we will have a show on Sunday. Everyone's still in contention, more or less. We're only 12 games in, or 11 games in. There are many still to play. So I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun again. Nice way to spend an hour on a Thursday evening. Um, Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you very soon. Good night.